Evaluation of progenies for extreme resistance to the viruses PVY and PVX. The evaluation of progenies begins with the planting of the botanical seeds, which have been previously treated with gibberellic acid at a concentration of 1,500 parts per million, in a seedbed made up of a proportion of 4 moss, 2 sand, and 1 soil. The progenies, in groups of 150 to 200 individuals, are planted in quantities of 10 or 15 per row, so that the seedlings are at an adequate distance for the inoculation and evaluation. 20 days after planting, the seedlings will have developed the first pair of 2 true leaves and will be ready for inoculation. Before inoculation, the following materials must be readily available: 1 or 2 mortars, 2 1-liter beakers, cold water, silicon carbide, carborundum, a compressor, and at least 2 airbrushes. Considering the overall goal to test extreme resistance to one or both viruses, the inoculum for potato virus X is prepared by using infected Nicotiana glutinosa leaves, and the inoculum potato virus Y is prepared using infected Nicotiana occidentalis leaves. Weigh the respective Nicotiana leaf tissue to prepare suspension of 5% weight volume in water. The leaves are then macerated separately for single virus inoculation, or together when inoculating with both viruses, in the mortar, slowly adding water little by little using the entire suspension. The macerated tissue is passed through gauze, maintaining the original proportion of weight volume. Immediately after adequate volume is attained, 5 grams of silicon carbide is added per liter as an abrasive agent in order to facilitate the infection. 1 liter of the inoculum will suffice for 20 trays of 150 to 200 seedlings. The next step is to adjust the pressure of the compressor to 30 or 35 pounds per square inch and test the pressure in the airbrushes. Then, making sure the inoculi are well mixed so as to allow again for the suspension of the silicon carbide, place them in the jars of the airbrushes. It is now time to carry out the inoculation process. Begin by inoculating each seedling one at a time, making sure the stream is aimed at the baxial, lower surface, of the true leaves. The inoculated leaves will be rendered a bright green tone and appear to be moist. The evaluation of the progenies should begin 8 days after inoculation and will continue every second day for a period of 10 days. If the goal is to determine the dose of the extreme resistance allele of a resistant progenitor, you should record the number of symptomatic individuals at each evaluation day and the total number of healthy plants in the last evaluation day. Evaluations must take place during the first few hours of the morning to avoid direct light and to be able to distinguish the symptoms. In a shaded area, each tray is examined in a general manner. Start removing seedlings that show mosaic symptoms at first glance, and carefully record the number of seedlings removed in a notebook. Immediately, proceed to carefully check plant by plant in each row, identifying and removing the ones with symptoms of necrosis or mosaic that were missed in the first evaluation, always recording the number of plants removed in the notebook. Here we see plants with different intensities of mosaic symptoms side by side with a healthy plant. Likewise, we can see plants with symptoms of necrosis on leaves and stems side by side with a healthy plant.